We already had a webinar a couple of weeks back, and I hope many would have joined that, because it's more or less it's a continuation of that particular webinar. What did we cover in the last webinar? If in case you have not been able to join in the previous webinar, basically we were trying to understand what we need to create as a report. What is my purpose of creating a report, and from where can we see the report? And I mean, what is the process involved in creating a report? So we created a report. I'll just show you that particular report that we created in the last webinar. And the purpose of what to create and from where to create was the main purpose. Now is in this particular webinar, what we're trying to cover is how do you want to see the report? So it was like, from where do we create the report? What is the source for the report? Now it is how do we want to see the report? So this is the third part. So let me just show you from the previous webinar what we had created. So this is, give me a second, just minimize my screen. Yeah. So we were taking an example of a GRC, and we did create a report like this. Now this is a basic. It's basically to how do we use the LVs, or how we use the data sources, and we create a report, right? So this is the basic of a report, right? Now we need to see this report in a more, let's say, in a better formatted way. So we want some maybe dates, we want some months, right? We want some information with respect to what are the details. Do you want to see the details or not? Right, like that. There could be many formatting options that you want to see from the report. So what we're trying to achieve today is to basically create a report like this. From what we had left the last webinar, what we're trying to create a report where we can see a lot of formatting with respect to colors, formatting with respect to collapsing of the data, right? We don't want to see the particular data, we can collapse the data. Maybe we don't want to see the too much details of the report, then we can hide the details section. So all of that we will try to cover in this particular webinar, right? So for basically saving some time, what I've done is I've converted that particular report that we created in the previous webinar into a more compatible report for this particular webinar. So the information is more or less the same, and on this we will try to create the various options of the report designing options that we have on the report, right? So let me start with the design of this particular report. Give me a second. So this is the report that we are, it's a compatible one with the previous webinar, and we are trying to achieve the report that we just shown, so that it's more easier for the user to understand. Maybe it's basically easier to look into. There's not too much information in the data, right, on the report. Okay. So starting off, what we want to see is information with respect to, let's say, some conditional formatting, right? So these are the various GRC information that we have as a document, right? So for a document, we have the GRC details, GRC number and the supply information, and then we have some total of quantity, gross amount, charge amount, net amount, right? So to do this, what we need to do is we need to create a conditional formatting. So if we remember in the previous webinar as well, we did something on the format cells. So here in the format cells, we were using it for the formatting of the number, date, and all those various texts. But now we will do some conditional formatting. So in this conditional formatting, basically I will put some conditions. So under what condition will this data provide a particular action? So these are the various actions that you can do on a report on a particular cell, basically. So this is basically format cells. So now what a particular action I want to do is I want to change the background color. Let's say I want to change the background color to little light grayish when I want to see this report in a detail section. So there is a parameter that you are using in this particular report called as show details. So if we set this, I mean, choose this parameter to be as no, then we will see this section as highlighted, right? So if we do this and we just run this report, I just show it from one cell, and we can just copy the entire formatting from one of the cells to the other cells in that particular row. So we have an option called as show detailed report. So this is a parameter that we have chosen, and we had said that for no, it will do a conditional formatting, right? But if you see, this is a click. After clicking, there is no option that is coming. So to handle that, you have to just remove this particular cell value, and again click the drop down, and then you will be able to see the you will be able to see the no option, right? So if we click OK, then that particular cell should be highlighted into a particular gray color. Right? So if you see this particular cell, it has been highlighted into a gray color. Right? Now what I can do is I can just copy paste the formatting. So there's an option in my this toolbar section, right? So there's a format paintbrush. I can just click on this and just copy this particular format to all of the various, adjoining cells. So I just copy paste this various formatting, and once we rerun this report, you will be able to see the effects in all the other reports. I mean, all the other cells, right? So this is one conditional formatting that you want to use, maybe for a certain condition you want to highlight this particular color. It could be just selecting yes, no. It could be, let's say, you want to highlight a value which is greater than 1000. So that could be various scenarios where you want to highlight a particular cell, right? So again, I run this report, show the detailed report as no, press OK, and you will see that all my cells will have all the cells in the particular row will have the value highlighted, right? So this is one use of the conditional formatting that one can use, to enhance the report. So now what I can see is my GRC records. There's a detail section in the bottom of the GRC records, and I have a GRC section where I can see the GRC date and the GRC number and the supplier. So that particular section is highlighted, or let's say, particular background color we have changed. Now, to see the converse effect of this, if you run this report as a, let's say, no supplier, so details section as no, rather, sorry, yes. So if you click on yes, you should not be able to see that particular formatting. So based on what you select, based on what the condition is, the particular formatting will change. So see, now you see this is a fully plain text. There's no color in this, right? So that was an example of a conditional formatting, and there is another thing where there are a lot of features in this particular designer. Basically, this designer is synonymous to your Excel designing. So you can use cell referencing as you do in Microsoft Excel. You can do a lot of collapsing also in this, right? You can do a hide. So this section was hidden. So if you see the previous output, you do not see any section and department, right? Here also you are not able to see any section and department. Why was it? Because there was a row that was hidden. If you just unhide this, unsuppress this particular, uncheck this suppress row option, if you run this report, you will be able to see the particular data as well. So if I want to suppress some data, I can do that manually. I can select that particular cell, row, and I can suppress that particular thing. Or, as I was mentioning earlier, we can do a conditional suppressing. So let's say, what do you want to do with the show detail parameter? You want to maybe see just the GRC details and not the item details, right? So that could be a requirement. In that case, what we can do is we can just suppress the records, the item details, saying that please suppress this particular rows when my show details section is no. So only when show details is yes, when I want to see the show detail parameter is yes, only then it will show my records. Otherwise, it will always suppress the records. But actually, the data is there, but it's suppressed at report front. right? So I can do that through this formatting condition formatting option, right? I'll just show this particular scenario which I was explaining. So basically this becomes a summary and a detailed report. So if I don't want to show the details, it becomes a summary report, or let's say a header level report. And if I want to show the details, so if I say I want to show the detail, let me just start with the no. So what is happening is you are able to create a report which will have two effects where we can see the detail, and another one is where we won't see the detail. So here there's a total that is coming, that is fine, but we do not see the barcode information or the item information, right? So it is just a GRC amount number is showing and the corresponding total for that. Again, we can probably suppress this particular row. Maybe it's not of any require. We can just suppress that particular row. In that case, that will also go away, right? So, and again, maybe we can just run this report with a show detail section as yes. So you will be able to see the detail section. So, this is the basically the effect of creating a conditional formatting of suppressing a row. You can highlight a row. You can do a lot of things. You can page break even. You can do a lot of. Oh, sorry. Let me just run this report with a value yes. So there are various options that are there with the cell formatting. So this gives the power to the user to design a report however he or she likes it. I mean, it gives a lot of power to the user. It makes things much more clearer. So if you see this particular previous report where it was okay, I haven't selected that particular information here, not displayed it there, but it was no. So you will see all the GRC information highlighted in gray, and here all my details are there, and I can see my GRC along with my uh, section department along with the item details, right? So all of this information can be, designed in such a way that you can show the report in multiple ways, right? Let me just make some design changes here so that we can see whatever changes we are making. So if I change the report name, when I say the show details to be as yes, so this my report is a detailed report, else it's a summary report. So this is basically a function. You can, in a formula, basically, you can edit formula and you can do a lot of things. So you can put a if condition. Again, it's a similar to your Excel. You can use an ampersand symbol to do a concatenation. So that is also what we can do in an Excel. So a lot of things can be done through this formula editor. It's a very powerful tool of web reports where you can do a lot of aggregation. These are various functions that can be used. You can do a logical function. We use the logical function of if here, right? We can do a string for concatenate. You can use the function concatenate, or you can use the ampersand symbol, right? And various other formatting options are there, right? We have the operators, and we can use the database data types as well, right? So there are a lot of options that are there. Once you explore these various functions, you will know more about it. To know more about a particular function, you can just click on this, and there will be an information. There will be a description that will be provided at the bottom of this. I hope it is visible. Let me just zoom in a little, right? So this is how you use the formula editor, and you make your cells, display of the reports much more, let's say, interactive, or let's say handy, right? So I will also change this particular header section where we want to see whatever we have selected. We can see that in the particular report output, right? So I can, if I had selected a no, show details no, that will show a no here, right? Like that. So whatever selection we have done as a parameter, whatever date we have changed, chosen, whatever division, section, department we have chosen, or whatever site we have chosen, and whatever other parameters that we have chosen, we can see that in this particular page header section, so that when we come back to this report, we know what we have selected, right? Okay. Again, I was talking about the various formula editors, right? So if you want to, let's say for a detailed section, you don't want to see show anything, you can format the cells like this. Let me just show you. So if your show detail section is no, I don't want to print any value. And if it is yes, then I will show the date section, right? We can do that. So I will not take too much time on that particular various headings. I'll keep it as is. But I hope this particular understanding is there, right? Okay. Let me just quickly run this report where we are. So the dates are everything is selected. We have selected the detail section is yes. I click OK. And right. So there's information with respect to okay, this function is not correct. Let me just quickly change this. Seems to be correct. So, okay, I'll run this report again. Right. So we can now we are able to see what we have selected. So we have selected show detail as yes. So we are able to see the details, and we are able to see all the various amounts, right? So I'll just quickly close all the other tabs which are not required. So I just keep this particular design tab open and close all other previous reports. I mean previous outputs. So next, what we can do is we can use a collapsing, how we can keep information more concise on the report output, and we can use a collapse option. So there is a collapse row option over here. So these are various options that you can use on the right hand side of the left hand side of this particular report designer. So you will see there is a called a suppressed row, which I showed you earlier. So this was particular row was suppressed. And if you untick this, it becomes unsuppressed. I just tick this again. Check this again. Now on this particular row, if you use a collapsible row, you check this as yes. So it will start collapsing. It will show this particular data, and anything that's below this, it will collapse that particular row. So this is how your output will look like. Let me run this report. I have not changed any other. I mean, kept all the options same. We do want to see the details of the report. Yes, we kept the detail section, but we are not able to see all the details because we have collapsed the data. So now if you click on this particular arrow sign, it then expands or drills down to the next level. Otherwise, you are able only to see up to the division section, I mean group data information, right? So this is a collapse feature that we have. You can use multiple collapses, but beware, this is a performance impacting feature. So if it's not at all required, I mean, if it is not required, I would suggest not to use this particular feature. But of course, for small reports, this can be used, and for making information more concise, you can use this particular collapse reports feature, right? Another thing is with respect to, I want to repeat some data on every pages. So as we have discussed in the previous webinar, we are talking about the various sections, right? So page header is something that will repeat on the various, I mean, all the pages. But let's say there's some information you want to, when you're moving from one page to another, you want to show it at the top, or you want to keep it there on the top. basically not to forget where we are. Maybe if you see this particular output, we have gone from page 1 to 2, right? The output is on page 2, but we do not know which source site is this particular GRC, right? So that information may be sometimes confusing for viewing purpose. So what we can do is we can again use this particular option where we can do a repeat row. So basically this repeat row will ensure that whenever this particular information is carrying forward from this particular page to the next particular page, this information is repeated on the top. So if you see this particular output, you do not see the source site name on the top of this page, and we do not know which site this is, right? So to for better clarification, you can use a repeat row. So I'll just show the output of this particular report when you use a report row. Right. So I haven't changed anything. I'll go and see this particular output. Right. So I don't know. Somehow it's gone on to 3 pages. Not very sure why. But if you go to the next page, yeah, we are on the next page. Page 2. We are on the page 2. Yeah, you can see this particular site information is repeated. So now I know that this particular site on particular month, this information is for this particular source site, right? So we are not losing any information. We are able to see all the relevant information, right? So rendering purposes, again, the same will be also if you want to export this particular report into a PDF, this particular option will also be there. I mean, this is particular repeating of this particular site name, source site information will also be there, right? Okay. Right. Okay. And let's say you want to do some page break. So maybe on this particular uh, supplier, for every supplier you want different page. This is basically you use for a documentation kind of a thing, no, not probably for a reporting purpose, but for a documentation kind of a thing. So you want your each supplier to be different, maybe each GRC to be different, right? So that kind of a scenario you can use where you can set a page break on that particular group. So this particular group is a supplier name group. So if I set a page break on this particular group, so when you run this report, all my suppliers, whenever my supplier changes, it will go into the next page. If you see the output, sorry, if this particular output, you would see that all my suppliers are on the same page because there's no page break here. Yeah, Adinatwa, Vestalai, or VM traders all are on the same page. What we can do is yeah, we have already set a page break. Now we'll see how the output looks like after the page break option. So we'll see the number of pages have gone up. Okay, the first page somehow seems to have. Okay, there is an issue here. Let me just correct this particular issue. When I run this report with a no option only, then I think this will show because there's a conditional formatting on the sort that is there. I'll explain what I'm saying right now. Maybe it's not very clear. Yeah, I think that is it. So you would see on this particular page, AB Venture has 3 GRCs, right? So now on this particular page, you are able to see information with respect to only AB Venture, A and B Venture. After that, there has been a page break and it's moving on to the next page and it's showing for AB supplier, ABC supplier, right? Then for Aditya. So basically, there is a sorting that is there. So this conditional formatting, there's a sorting that is there. It says if my supplier name is, if my show details section is no, only then I will select my supplier name. Otherwise, I will ignore my supplier name. If I want to show the details as yes, this is not required, This is a certain condition that has been used. But if you don't want to use this particular condition, that is also okay. I mean, you can just keep the supplier name as it is. You don't need to do such a sort of sorting. It is just based basis on the purpose that you want to. So basically, the purpose here was to say that if I don't want to see the details, I mean, if I do want to see the details, then I will probably ignore the supplier name sorting. I will keep the site name sorting. I don't want to keep the supplier name sorting. So that is the purpose of doing a conditional, uh, you know, conditional function here in this function, this sorting, and that is why you were able to see only the page break during a show detail section. No, so that is as per the condition that you have provided in the report, right? So this is for the conditional page breaking. So what we have covered till now is how the conditional formatting works, how we can suppress row, how we can highlight cells, how to collapse a section and what is the purpose of doing so, how can we use a group repeat, right, on each page. So the site name is repeating on each page, and we are doing a page break on each page for the supplier, right? So hopefully this all things are clear, right? Now we will use a group function. I mean, I will create a sorting on a date, receive date with a let's say month and a year, right? Let me do that. Let me create a sort. Let me take the receive date. We'll see how this report looks like and what is the effects of this. And I pull it over here and change the function. So basically, instead of taking the day of the month, I'm taking the month and the year information here. Right. So what we have used a function on the particular data element of receive date and data concatenation with the year, right? So I get my month and year. So 1st of April will be April hyphen 2020, right? So that kind of a sorting I have added, right? Now, if I want to see this particular thing in this particular report, I can need to add a section here. How do I add a section? I add a group header. And in the group header, I need to select that particular sort that I just created. I'll just merge these cells and I will paste the particular function here. Same function here so that we are able to see this, right? So if I run this report again, now there will be a little more information in this report where you can see the month information as well. So just see the output here. Okay, there is an issue here. Now, instead of, okay, it's going on to the next page. Instead of showing April 2020, it is showing us 1st of April. I mean, showing the date actually. So to handle that particular situation, you have to do a formatting of the cells, go to the number and keep it as text, right? So when you do that, you will be able to see. Okay. Also, my position of the group is not correct. Let me just move it down after supplier and before received date, right? So I move the particular value, and now we will see how the report looks like. Ignoring the first page. Okay, now you will able to see in the month of April 2020 there were 2 GRCs that were done, right? More information can see in this particular. So in the month of May there is only one, right? If you want to put some count on this, you can do that, right? For this particular supplier, we can do a month-wise breakup of GRC. I mean, how many GRCs have we got in month of May? So now we know in supplier, for this particular supplier, we have got in only one record in May. and this supply it's April to November, right? So that kind of information, that kind of power we have with this formula editor, and we can do a lot of, as I mentioned earlier as well, we can do a lot of things that are there that are possible in Excel that you can achieve the same here in this particular report designing as well. Okay, let me just close all the tab outputs and we just go back to our particular report which we were trying to recreate. Right. So this was my reference report. I'll run this report. We'll see what are pending here. One thing that is pending is the alternate shading, right? And we will using the various categories. These are various categories that you want to see in your report, and that based on that the output will change. I will come to that. That is a little more tricky, but I'll come to that. Right. So this particular example which we were trying to see, we were seeing well, there was no supplier breaking it as such, but we were able to see for a particular month what are the various GRC orders and who are the supplier for that, right? So again, this is how you want to design this particular report, right? So you have a source site, we have a April data, then we have the August data, and then we have the June data and the May data. There's a problem with the sorting of this particular dates, but that is that is something that we can manage. And there is of course the repeating of the site, and there's the collapse thing, and of course there's a the alternate row shading, right? So we'll come to that. Okay, let me go back to my original report, and again we will be using the left tab. We have an option for a section shading here. So in this section shading we can choose colors, various colors, right? So I choose two colors, the same colors that I have used in my other design as well, right? So I can do a section shading here. I can paste the number which I have already stored, or you can choose a color from various colors options that are there, right? So you can choose anything. I mean, you can choose from here, or you can, if you have a color that is particular requirement as part of a design or something, so that can be uh, as part of theme, whatever it is. So if you see this particular output now, you should be able to see multiple, I mean, alternate shading. Hmm. Now, since I have not chosen any, I have kept the show details as no, that is why it's not able to show anything. So I need to choose the correct parameter value for that. So I need to choose yes. Only then I will be able to see the alternate shading. I mean, the item information which will be in alternate shading. Right. So if we go to the next page, probably remove the page break. So yeah, if you see this particular, here the item information is in the blue color. Here it is in the a different color. So if there are two items under this particular section, you will see there's an alternate color for that. So this men's shirts have two items, 2020 and 1006, and they are in alternate shading. Even here it is the same, right? So you can do a lot of things that will make your report more enhanced visually, right? And we had chosen the this thing collapse source that was somehow removed. Anyway, I've reintroduced that. Right. And if you see this particular use output, I think the only thing that is pending is with respect to the various is categories, right? So this is a very unique feature here where we use various uh, parameters. There are 7 parameters. 7 parameters. I'll just paste it here. Give me just 2 minutes. So you have is barcode. Do you want to see the barcode information? Do you want to see the category 1 information? Do you want to see the category 2 information? Right. So here we have basically 6 categories, and you can choose any of the various categories that you want to see in your particular item name. So whatever you choose, let's say what you want to choose barcode and uh, let's say category 2, you can do that. Or you want to see only the barcode, you can do that. So how you want to see your item detail, I mean item name, is totally up to you. You can select that. But for that, there's a special thing that needs to be done. I'll just show you that once I have used all my, I mean, introduced all the parameters here. There, I can just control click and it will be copied. So let's say I want to copy this particular here. I can press the control function and I can copy it from here to here. So the whole cell value gets copied. Right? So 3, 4, 5, and a 6. Right? But if I keep it here, it will also show me in the output. So I'll probably suppress this particular section, right? And on top of this, what we need to do is there is a server event that we need to let's say instigate in your report. So what is a server event? Well, that will be covered in a later webinars, right? But for now, just to understand that there's a server event and there's a server action, right? So there's a server event that is already selected, and there's a server action that has to be selected. So this has to be selected. So right now, just keep in mind that these two, event and action, corresponding action has to be selected, and we will explain this in a later webinar why this is so, and what are the various server events and what are the various action and events that occur, right? So to keep this particular webinar short, I just selected this and I'll just run this. And as I explained, these various parameters show barcode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories. These are all with respect to items. So in this particular execution, what I can do is I can select the barcode to be as yes. Sorry, barcode to be as yes. Right. And did I select show it all yes? I am not very sure. Let's see. See, you are just able to see the barcode. So if you see the previous output, it was a full length name, item name that is there. But since we have used a particular category, which was the barcode, so now you will be only able to see the item based on the barcode. So whatever barcodes are there, all information is with respect to the barcodes. So yeah, so this is this particular feature. So to use this particular feature, you need to know the 7 parameters that are there. Is category 1 to 6, and there is a 7 parameter called as the is barcode applicable. So in any report where you want to show the item information, right? I mean item name information, and you want to keep that dynamic, you can use the 7 parameters, and additionally you need to know the event. So how do we know the event? Yeah, there's a report option on the left hand side of the report design, and in the advanced section you have to see the events. Click on the events. So in this event you will be able to see the event. There are various events. This particular event has to be selected, and this particular action has to be selected, right? So I think you can make a note of it, or you can you'll be able to see this in the webinar recording as well, which you can get later, right? So this is the effect that will cause. So if you want to see all the item categories, exit barcode, so you have to select all of my parameters to be as yes. If you don't want to see any of it, the converse is also true. You don't want to see any information with respect to the item name. You just want to see the numbers, right? So what we can do is you can select the, sorry, you can select it to be as no. And the effect of this is it will show as all item instead of showing the barcode or the category information, it will give me the, okay, I need to remove this particular page break option, which is causing some concerns. You will see the all item. So all of my items will be showing as all item. There will be no barcode information that will be showing, there will be no category information that will be showing. This is all because you have selected no in your parameter while selecting, executing this particular report. Right. What else do we need to cover as part of this? We have covered, yeah, filter functions is something that we need to see. We have applied alternate row shading. We have applied here. We have seen category 1 to 6 and the parameter barcode parameter effects, right? We many of you who have used the reports might know that the same parameter which we use as part of the prompting, we also use the same as in the filters as well. So one might ask, what is the purpose? So we, while executing this report, we use the site name drop down where we selected site name as all, and we also use that particular code over here, right? So there are a few basic differences between a barcode and a parameter. Namely, in a parameter, you cannot do a multi-select, while in case of filter, you can do a multi-select using the one-off option. So here you can select 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to select. You can do this. So whatever you have selected over here, it comes on the top bottom side of the summary of the filter, right? So all those things are, this is one thing that is a filter gives you more power. Another thing is filters always dependent on the previous value selection. So if I selected my site to be as, let's say, Kolkata, then all my GRC with respect to Kolkata will be showing in here. Whereas in case of parameters, you can make it both dependent and independent, right? So two parameters, if you run on the report, need not be related to each other. But if you want to keep it like in case of division section department, you can make them dependent on each other, right? So parameter gives you that flexibility to create your own, let's say, custom kind of drop down list. But in case of filters, it is kind of fixed. So if you're selected Kolkata, you will get only GRCs with respect to Kolkata. So like that. So these are the two main differences between parameters and filters. Of course, there are many other differences that are there, but we will maybe like to cover it in future this thing webinars. But these are the two. Operational wise, these are the two main points. Another thing that you will be able to see while creating filter option is you will see that there are various filter functions. So let's say if I want to select a date, let's say I've selected created on. There is an FX option on the right hand side. You will see a drop down here. Sorry, the FX option you have to click. Sorry, FX option, you will see there are various filter functions over there. So if I want to, let's say I want to execute my report daily, and you don't want to, you want to schedule this report and you want to run this report from yesterday till today. So you will create a filter as such. While before submit schedule, you will probably select a filter. Value. As you say, created on between yesterday and today. So you always this report dates will change. So tomorrow it will be 19 and 20. Yesterday it would be 17 and 18. Today it is 18 and 19, right? So every day this will change. Right now you are able to see a particular value, but this, if you select this particular function, filter function, this is set in the report, and this will change every day you run this report. I mean, every day or whatever basis you are executing. There are various options that are there. You want to select the first day of the month, you want to see the last day of the year, last day of the quarter, first day of the quarter. So various options are there. You want to choose, there are there. Right. So this is basically the various filter functions that are there, and there are various differences between filters and parameters. So we just divided from the report designing part to an execution part. But yes, so I'll just to conclude that this webinar was mostly on the design part, but there is some impact on the execution part, since we are already moved from the parameter choices, moved on to the parameter choice of each barcode available to the race category. So that is why I thought that this particular topic may also be covered. Yeah, I think that is it from my side. Hope I have covered all my topics. Navindra, you can help me if I have missed anything.
No, it's fine. Just to answer, I think Mr. Anil Deshmukh has asked
Yeah.
one query.
Also, so we are starting the Q&A session. Yeah, thanks.
See, then not questions in Q&A section. Just only one question we have received. Just to answer on that, Mr. Deshmukh, Anil Deshmukh has asked for that whether there is any report combining that PO, GRN, transfer, sales in stock. Yeah, we have one report. There's a multiple reports based on GRN total stock movements, like from GRN to transfer to any other inventory movements we have in our report. And if you want something like from PO to GRN, then there is one two reports are there: purchase order tracking, summary, and details. So you can have some details on PO to GRN, even from GRN to it is invoice level. That tracking you can do. And for inventory movement kind of thing, from GRN to transfer, sales, and any other movement of the inventory, so we have reports based on stock book summary cube, which available in our latest in our existing reports. You can find that and the inventory section. So any other queries?
Yeah, surprisingly, we have very less questions today.
Right.
Yeah. I think there was one question: what is the current report version? I think, and how to get that. I think if you can just give a little bit of information around.
Yes, Ankit. Yeah, there is this issue is there, but you can get in touch with the support team, and they will provide you a fix for this. Ankit. Sorry, Rohit, I totally missed the question. I was just reading through the question from Ankit. Can you repeat your question again?
No. From Ankit itself, the question was about the report version. So if
Okay.
you can just, I think.
Okay.
You have
So yes,
already-
Ankit, you are using the latest version that is being provided, 2019.2.16, and yes, there's a format cell issue there. So again, as I mentioned, you can get in contact with the support team, and they will provide you a solution for that.
Okay, I think we are done. So probably we can wind up and close it. Thank you, everyone.
As I mentioned at the starting, probably I was discussing with Raman and Rohit. So there are a few links that we will share as part of the questions that have been asked as part of my previous webinar. So we should have done it by now, but anyway, I will share that now. Okay. So thanks, everybody. I think we are done.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.